say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
On behalf of the 700 Japanese and American employees of the embassy and their families, and the 60,000 American troops who are represented here today, it's a great honor and a delight to welcome our distinguished guest, and it's my particular pleasure to introduce Secretary of State James Baker.
Thank you. Thank you, Desai. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank all of you for being here because you give me a rare opportunity. A Secretary of State has few pleasures in life, and introducing the President of the United States is surely at the top of the list. We're here today because an era has ended with the passing of the Emperor of Japan. In a way, an era has ended for us as well. You here are the American community. You are the custodians of American values in a society that, frankly, not too many Americans understand. But you understand, and you know well, that in this new era, we must learn more about Japan. We must strengthen our ties because together we represent a major force for both democracy and economic progress in the Pacific and in the world. Together we hold the promise of these new times, which, as you know, the Japanese call Heisei, the era of peaceful achievement, in our hands. Your work here is essential to our success. But now I want to say a few words about another man essential to our success. I've been privileged to know the President for many years, over 30 to be exact. He's a mean tennis player and a good shot when the birds are flying in the right direction. I've seen him do democracy's work in Texas, in the Congress, in China, at the United Nations, at the CIA, and as Vice President of the United States. He's a man of the community. He believes deeply that America's goodness is found in our families, found in our neighborhoods, and found in our values. He knows that our passion for democracy and for freedom and for fair play make us what we are, and that these values are also the surest guides to the future. But he's also more than that. He helped to pioneer our relationship with China. He knows the world, especially this dynamic new world of the Pacific, and he knows that our country, too, is entering a new era. We're not going to be as fancy as the Japanese. We're just going to call it the Bush era. The President has described his task as shaping the world so our values and our country can thrive as never before. I think he is uniquely able to do so because he combines our values of community with an understanding of the rapidly changing world. And I am privileged, above all, to call him my friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my high honor and a great pleasure to introduce to you the President of the United States.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Mr. Secretary, first let me tell the kids here, all of you, right along here in the front, this is not what presidents normally wear. But they told me I was going to get to say hello to all of you, and so I put this suit on, and so did your able DCM, Desai Anderson, who is doing a superb job. Really, when Senator Mansfield left here, I was wondering, how is all this going to work? Because we want to do it right. We want to show our respect to the Japanese people, to how we feel about their system, about the late emperor, our support for the new emperor, and our support and friendship for the Japanese people. And this embassy had a very important role in all of that. And I must say, Desai has done a superb job, ably assisted by all of you. And whoever the administrative officer is of this embassy, I know you'll be glad to see us go. And I promise we'll go right on time. And how do I know about all of this? Why am I so smart? Well, you see, Barbara and I were in China, as Jim Baker said, and I was the equivalent of an ambassador. And we survived one visit from the then President of the United States, Gerald Ford, and had all these cables coming in and advance people running around and people bossing us around when we thought we knew exactly what to do. And then we survived 2 visits from Henry Kissinger. So I know what I'm talking about, and I am very grateful to everybody in this embassy who has gone out of you all's way to make us feel at home. I want to pay my respects to the military, as well as to the civilians, both Japanese and American, in this embassy, but to the military here in Japan, who are out there protecting the national security interests of our country and projecting, along with the rest of you all, the very best about America. I want to say to the kids here, President is a good fun job in some ways. The other day, I had the San Francisco 49ers at the White House, and I got a new football, and I had more fun, and so you get to do a lot of interesting things. And we can all write about this. You know, I've had letters from kids all across the country. What is it like to be president? Today you become president. Why aren't you doing more? One kid wrote me. On the very day I was sworn in, you know. So, but in any event, that's the way it is in our system. Let me just say a word about our relationship with Japan. It is a key relationship, and it is important and right that the President of the United States and his wife, Barbara, in this instance, be here today. It is important and right that our Secretary of State join me, as he did today, to pay our respects to the Japanese people. And you know, there was some wondering as to whether I should come here, and it never entered my mind that I should do anything else. And I expect you here understand my thinking. We are saluting. We understand the turmoil of the past, the distant past, a past that perhaps the new Prime Minister of Japan understands. His being 6 months older than I am. His birthday is tomorrow. And I understand it from having been in the military, but we're not here talking about the past. We're saluting what the late emperor did. We're saluting a system that is a democratic system. We're saluting a people that are our friends, and we're saluting the future as well. And so that's why we came, and I hope that it in some way is helpful to the mission of this great embassy, and I hope it is helpful to the mission of our able military officers and others, men and women in the services who are with us today. And so I want to thank each and every one of you for this warm hospitality of the embassy. We go from here off to China, where Barbara and I lived for a year and a half or so when I was the equivalent of ambassador. And this will be my 5th visit back to China and Barbara's 6th. And I expect we're looking forward to seeing the change that greets every visitor every time you go there. And that relationship is important. And then we stop off in Korea, all too short a visit, but nevertheless symbolically important, where I'll have a chance to speak to the Parliament as well as to see the President. And so it's a quick visit, but it is a visit that will say what all of you are saying by your lives, that we are a Pacific nation, that it is important how we behave and that we demonstrate not only our presence but our commitment. It is in the national interest of the United States that we do that. And so I'm pleased to be here representing the greatest, the freest, and the most wonderful country on the face of the earth. And I thank each and every one of you who serve this country day in and day out. Thank you all, and God bless you. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to come down, and all kids that have cameras, you can give them to Tim. Tim is over here. He's a very good photographer. And then we'll get pictures taken, and we'll at least get to say hello to as many as possible. And thank you all for the warm hospitality.